Today we have our presentation that it will start now with also Janine, who is in New Zealand, and you will see her presentation immediately. And after Natalia Kolodzei, who is our moderator, she is in New York, so just it's very spread all over the world. Here we have it.
Sorry, did I?
Yes, you have it on the bottom of the screen.
Sorry.
Yep.
My name is Kolodzei. I am 10 years old. Let's explore the journey and experience of archiving process of Silent Media Art Lab. Silent Archive is divided into 3 self-contained units: Silent Audio Archive, Silent Video Archive, and Made in Silent. Let's dive into the process of preserving digital art and documenting its evolution for mine and the future generations. As a result of the explorations, silent came to the most natural medium for the archiving process. Show and spread the sounds. Laves cut records. Let's explore the process with Sergei Komarov, curator of the Silent Audio Archive. The Silent Video Archive, curated by Victoria Ilushkina, has been functioning since 2008. One of the tasks of the archive is to form an open and accessible collection, to protect works of art from being closed in private collections, and to prevent them from becoming outdated. From the very beginning, Silent Video Archive was conceived as a platform for networking and interactions between artists, curators, and art institutions that promotes the development of media art and allows a wider audience to follow new trends in digital visual art. The Made in Silent archive consists of works made by Silent's regular participants, which reflect the laboratory's main goal: the creation of works incorporating new technologies and experiments in media art, creative collaboration between artists and engineers. Here is the form Silent uses to document all the works, from the idea and technical details, codes and illustrations, to the list of places where the project was exhibited.
So my name is Natalia Kolodzei, and welcome to the panel discussion, Art Data, New Frontiers.
Tēnā koutou katoa, no Scotland, Denmark, Cornwall o Kutipuna, and oho ana au ki Tāmaki Makaurau, Auckland, Aotearoa, New Zealand, ko Janine Randerson tōku ingoa. Tēnā koutou katoa, greetings to you all. I'm an artist, curator and writer based in Aotearoa, and I'm also a founding trustee of the Aotearoa Digital Art Network, or AIDA, and I'm delighted to be here virtually in Paris. The Aotearoa Digital Art Network started with an email list in 2003, and their activities have grown to include events, symposia, an art base, and a library platform for publications. Their website has recently been remodelled by an active AIDA team, including Vicky Smith, Birgit Bashler, and Ted Whitaker. The AIDA Art Base is part of an open-ended research project named Indeterminate Infrastructures. This archive holds potential for deeper relationships to other international media art archives, such as being proposed in this forum. Coincidentally, the Archive of Digital Art, or AIDA, established in 1999 in Austria, I believe, also shares the same acronym. But we also share similar proclivities and desires to foster networks of artists across time and geographic distance. I have observed that media art archiving practices at first reinforce binaries, featuring the global centres of new media art from large cities versus the so-called periphery or the global south, underscoring the timeliness of recent efforts to bridge these divides. The Aotearoa Art Network builds on a local community, tending to the Indigenous culture and ethos and expanding outwards to Te Moana Nui a Kiwa, the Great Southern Ocean. We connect to the Asia-Pacific region through our Sea of Islands, to quote Tongan Fijian theorist Epeli Hawawha, rather than any continental landmass. Indigenous digital artists such as Rewa Wright and Pasha Clouthier resist notions of centre and periphery and treat data sets as part of environmental and cultural ecologies. Wright makes connections between quantum dynamics, nanoparticles, and Māori concepts of life force and spirit, such as Maori and Wairua in the Māori language. Descendant of the Pitcairn Islands, Clouthier links fluid dynamics and chaos theory to the knowledge of Moana Pacific navigators and their creative explorations of diffractive wave patterning. This artwork, for instance, makes a wave pattern from the Māori koru, or infinite spiral motif. Although the AIDA network was born on the internet, many media artists in Aotearoa locate an ancestor in Len Lai, born in 1901, an interdisciplinary and free-thinking artist known for his experimental films and kinetic sculpture, which draw on both electronically programmed and naturally occurring energies. I have researched his unrealized propositions for sculpture and analog tape and lightning events in documents held at the new Len Lai Foundation Archive in Taranaki, New Plymouth, in Aotearoa, New Zealand. I briefly touch now on Lai's program sculpture, Loop, or Universe. The sculpture is an oval band of spring steel powered by two electromagnets in a wooden base that pull and release the metal form in a program sequence. Universe was first exhibited at Howard Wise Gallery in New York under the title Loop. The artwork's nearly 60 years old, yet the polished steel surface appears ageless, and the electronic programming is still fresh. The program sequence I recently encountered at the Adam Art Gallery in Wellington follows Lai's 1963 Chicago Institute composition, where kinetic energy builds in the steel loop, gently rocking and contorting the steel before any sound occurs. And when a cork ball suspended above eventually strikes the steel, Reverberations radiate out. It is loud. The undulating loop of metal eventually calms and sways to rest. The experience is intensely oral. Lai saw his sculptures as having instrumental sound-producing qualities, and his term tangible for the sculptures emphasizes the endosomatic effect kinetic energies have on the body. There are parallels between Lai's use of the energies of electromagnetism in loop programming and the mechanism of magnetized tape loops. And around the 1970s, Lai began to experiment with further recordings of his own sculptures using a contact microphone and reel-to-reel tape recorder. He made recordings of the sounds of Len Lai sculpture and imagined them as a basis for a free library that would offer a new range of timbres for music, perhaps an early version of Spotify. In closing, I return to the ADA network, where on this page of the ADA Art Base, an essay by curator Andrew Clifford, originally published in the ADA Reader, pays homage to Lai. Locally tended archives such as these exist worldwide and continue to offer portals to reconnect new and established digital practitioners with early experiments in emergent media. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Alexandra Dementieva. I'm an artist working in a new media field, like we name it, just it's not no new media anymore, but I'm doing interactive installation and environment, and I have already, I can quote it, several of them, like Breathless, Unbearable Lightness, Inland Wonderland, and like Microcosm. As I'm working in this field very long time, when I start to do it, so just nobody really could build it up. So every exhibition or every festival I had to go myself. And another things that made my life a little bit easier at that time, it was writing the instructions. Sometimes for one installation I have like 6-7 pages instruction how to build it up, what kinds of the hardware, what kinds of the software, what kinds of the computer files, and all these details that help even just the drawing, how it has to stay and where. But now a question that how I can keep it, because following my experience during the last 25 years that I'm using new technology, everything is changing with the cosmic speed, and so all time I have to readapt a lot of things. And if I would like to show installation that was made in 2002, for example, like mirror memory, I have just to change files. I have to check up the hardware that will be used, and also sometimes even rewrite the software, because otherwise the syntax, for example, Maximus P is changed and it's not working anymore. And so archiving digital artworks is a complex and ongoing process, as digital technology and the file formats are constantly evolving. And if you do conservation of your art without institutional help, and I think that also it's not very easy for them to find the right way how to do it. So you have to invent some approach that will be clear, and if in 2000 years somebody finds this mainly, I can say, instruction, so they can build up installation and to make something that was similar that I was doing at the time. So and this is my practice, how I keep each installation. This I'm making a book for each installation from the different scratches that I prepare for to develop it, and after different kinds of the approach that gives you possibility to see how did it look like, what kinds of this is one of the first setup, and like you see here, for example, this translucent screen, because at that time I couldn't find a short throw projector, so it was extremely expensive, so it was necessary to make a screen. And after very detailed in every small, even detailed conditions, what is happening when spectator is there, what he is doing, how the installation reacts. Also different schema, how we can install it, and also different way to approach the installation. So it means that with even at the end, I'm always putting it in the end with the mentioning what kinds of the hardware it existed at that time and how we use it, with explanation from what elements it was done. And this is very important. So this is my way for now, but I hope that very soon we will be able to put all kinds of information on DNA, and it will help us in the future to keep our artwork. Thank you.
So my name is Natalia Kolodzei, and welcome to the panel discussion, Art Data, New Frontiers in Curating, Preserving, Displaying, Connecting Digital-Based Art, with participants Anna Frants, Janine Randerson, and Alexandra Dementieva, who just shared their experiences with archiving and documenting new media while searching for sustainable global platform for dialogue on digital art and the way of collaboration among transnational institutions. So thank you so much, Anna, Janine, and Alexandra, for your presentations and for addressing the issues for archiving, curating, documenting this hybrid, dynamic, sometimes very fragile, vulnerable works of art and techniques that rely on technology in creative and display processes. Many archiving and preservation strategies include one or more main approaches to preserving digital information: static preservation, migration, emulation. But even in combination, it is difficult to balance the data and the appearances, as it may cause unacceptable loss when dealing with multimedia digital artwork. Providing context is extremely important mission for all the museums. So let's jump into the questions. What are your views on ideal collaboration between curator, artist, institution on the archival and preservation process? What are the steps to document the environment to allow the future viewers to better understand the work itself? What is the role of the curator in guiding and educating the artist through the archival and preservation process? What are the main challenges, both visual and archiving considerations for creating and redisplaying the work? Anna, let's start with you. What's your silent experience?
Well, I think one of the biggest problems is not only to provide the technical description, what the installation or interactive installation has to be, but to understand in future generations what artists wanted to see. So it's really important. For instance, in our practice, we include interview with the artist. So the technician in the future, whoever is creating the installation, could see what's the, because the interactive or installation, which includes technology, it's a complicated thing. So what with the sound, smell, and whatever is necessary. So it's really important to understand what the artist had in mind.
And Alexandra, what are your thoughts on the same question when you're displaying your work?
Well, I would like to say that yesterday I was all day here on conferences. I was very happy to see that there is a lot of archive now is going, and so just some of archive I'm with my work as other, and so I think it's for artists it's very difficult doing it by themselves. So I think that we have to collaborate with institution, and we have to have some kinds of really help, financial help to do this archiving. This is my
And Janine, and the same question goes to you. What are your thoughts on either collaborating with as an artist or as a curator?
I think it's fantastic to think about it from the outset, because I think the problem with our ADA database, for instance, is that we're just trying to collect what we can in terms of fragments, and actually to have a plan from the outset that I'm going to write everything down, I'm going to document the hardware, I'm going to do an audio recording. I think video recordings are really important as well of the work in action, just in case it's not possible to recreate the digital interaction again on a particular piece of software. At least if there's some kind of video recording that can be translated into the future, I think that's really important as well. But yeah, I think if curators can do it at the beginning, that's great.
And just to follow up, what do you predict will happen to the archival process and method in the next 5 to 10 years? What are the challenges and the role of new technologies in reconnecting the emerging and established digital practitioner with the, for example, more early experiments, and bridging this kind of binaries between the global centers and the new media art practices and locally standard archives, which you mentioned in your presentations?
Well, I think the one of the excitements is how much more connected we are. And if one archive can point to another archive, can point to another, and actually learn strategies from each other, I think there's a lot more potential of things being saved and being documented for the future. So definitely that possibility of connecting seems a really hopeful sign for the future. Yeah, and rather than listing strange lists.
And Alexandra, you mentioned like DNA and the new technologies. What are your thoughts on the new possibilities?
Well, definitely, I'm sure that it will be a different way just to do archive, but it's already Janine told that I think it's very important that we are pointing to one archive to another, so just to create some sort of the network, but it was also discussed yesterday, and I think it's very interesting. And yes, but like every day the technology is changing, so I'm really hopeful that DNA will work, so just we can put not only the archive of our new media, but it also all our knowledge of this Earth civilization. I don't see another possibility for a moment. Sorry.
As we can have like one question from the audience, if but
and thank you for the presentation of these archives which are discovering. So just the evidence that it's good to connect them together. And I was actually wondering if there is a connection between the archive that you presented in the these initiatives. Have you been connected from the outset, or is there some form of collaboration, or just actually for this conference? Is that, did you hear my question?
The question was around whether or not the archiving that you're working with is or was already in connection or collaboration with other archives in a technical sense.
In the technical sense, no, but we use our archives all the time because we do lots of exhibitions and travel around the world, so we definitely use it. We were studying the other archives just for the with the goal how to build our own. And for instance, we looked into archives of Victoria Albert State, and apparently each institution kind of inventing the way it can apply. So we kind of collected all this information and added our own, as I said, like interviews with artists. I think it's really important.
Yeah, I think the ADA archive, the Aotearoa Digital Art Archive, is also kind of built from the grassroots, and now it's an opportunity to reach out and try and connect to other art bases, to know that we're out there. So, you know, I was really happy that Anna invited me to talk about this art archive and in connection to Cylend. So I think that that dialogue is starting now, really.
Yes, thank you. I think we're running out of time now. So thank you, Anna Frants and Janine Randerson, Alexandra Dementieva, for sharing your thoughts and perspectives on your art and the curatorial practices and the archiving methods. There are, of course, many unanswered questions for the long-term solution for preserving and redisplaying digital art, which requires further efforts of all of us, and the research by artists and museum professionals and scientists. As the digital media and the techniques develop, they create and explore new viewer experiences and interactions, artificial life, intelligence, challenging and changing the creative process and the ways how we construct the meaning. So thank you, ISEA. Thank you, Summit on New Media Art Archiving, for fostering and guiding dialogue on art archiving and allowing deeper connections and relationships to the other international media art archives and networks. Thank you.